Hi, class. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about some of my thoughts on Beethoven's Symphony Number 9, which I listened to in its entirety for the first time this week. I'd also like to get into a couple of thoughts that I had about Kelly's First Night's book, the pages that we read from that, about Beethoven's life. Um, I enjoyed the symphony in its entirety, but the part that I found the most interesting was listening to Ode to Joy in its entirety. Ode to Joy is at the beginning of the fourth movement of Symphony Number 9, and it's a piece that's very recognizable. I recognized it right away when it first started to be played. It's been used in a lot of modern day movies and TV shows. It's an iconic piece. But when it's portrayed in modern media, normally the build up to the piece is not shown. So I thought it was very interesting to hear how all of the instruments come in one after another, and I think Beethoven does a really good job of building tension through that. I think another thing that was super interesting was his use of crescendo, followed very quickly by decrescendo, uh, while introing the piece. I have a little excerpt of that I'd like to play real quick. Uh, Funny anecdote, I guess. When I first heard that part of the song, I checked the audio on my laptop because I thought that it was cutting in and out. It turns out that was just a part of the piece, and I actually really like that. I think it did a really good job of building and releasing tension. Um so, when reading the pages from Kelly's First Night's book, um, one of the things that I thought was very surprising was that when Symphony Number 9 was premiered, Beethoven was deaf and he didn't actually conduct it, but the fact that he was still on stage and giving notes and directions to the conductor, I thought was very cool. And that surprised me. I didn't think him being deaf, he'd be able to be really involved in the conducting of a symphony whatsoever. Um, and during Beethoven's uh, lifetime, the particularly when putting on Symphony Number 9, uh, it was seen as bold, beautiful, breathtaking. Uh, the finale of the piece with the choir was groundbreaking, and people felt like it was something that they'd never heard before. He was pushing the classical music genre in uh, a new direction, which I think is really cool. Uh, and yeah, the audience gave him a large standing ovation towards the end of it. Um, and a lot of them even thought that the fact that Beethoven was deaf and still up there doing being involved in the production of the symphony, a lot of them were impressed by that as well. So I think it's really cool that people back then and myself now both had a similar reaction to well, them seeing him up there and me hearing about him being up there, being involved in the conducting of the symphony.